This is Middle Class Matt, and I am Sports Genius. Now, last week I didn't pick as well. Didn't have the confidence I had. The wild card weekend got all four right. Last week I was 2-2. I'll just be honest. It is difficult to pick games at this time of the year of who's going to win. I picked Denver, for example. I think Denver should have won. They blew it. They had the better team. But the Ravens are playing with great emotion, and I said that in my last video, my last divisional predictions. So, I'm looking at these two games, and I just have no idea. I have no idea. I've looked at what all the other critics say, and they're kind of agreeing with what I'm thinking, but I could see me get both of these games wrong, because all four of these teams are very good. So let's start with the games. Let's break them down individually. Let's talk about more of the different aspects of it, and then I'll make a prediction, but they'll hold me to them. Okay, so San Francisco at Atlanta. Okay, Atlanta's going to have the advantage because they're at Atlanta, and San Fran's going to have to travel all the way over from the west to the east. Now, that did not bother San Fran when they went over from west to east and beat the Patriots, who are also a very good team that we'll talk about later. But Atlanta has really come of age. They could have blown the game last week against the Seahawks. They were way up and had the game wrapped up and then could have let it slide right through their fingers like they have all their other playoff games. But instead, they showed they were a veteran team. They came back and they won. Now, let's look at the Atlanta offense. They have shown an ability to run the ball recently, but they have not been effective running the ball consistently all year. Their offense has really good wide receivers, some of the toughest to match up with, and then they have a very good quarterback, Matt Ryan. Now, they'll be going against one of the best defenses in the NFL, the 49ers. And this is not just a defense that's fast, this is a defense that's brutal. They beat you up. Their linebackers, look at them. They look like defensive ends. Look at Willis and Bowman. They look like defensive ends. They're huge. And they will smash you and keep you from running the ball, which will force Atlanta to throw the ball. But that will allow the 49ers, with their ability to stop the run, to double team certain wide receivers to give Atlanta trouble. Atlanta still is probably going to be able to throw the ball and still be able to get points just like Aaron Rodgers did last week. But will it be enough? So, I look at the Atlanta offense versus the 49ers defense, and I give the advantage to the defense of the 49ers. Now let's flip it around and look at the offense of the 49ers against the defense of the Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta has a pretty good defense, but Abraham's out. That's going to hurt them. They do have some nice corners to be able to cover the receivers. And Kaepernick has now shown that he can run the ball. He looked very impressive. I'm not a big fan of running quarterbacks. I haven't seen a running quarterback win a Super Bowl yet. I've seen guys who can run, who are pocket passers, but I've never seen a real running quarterback. I've never seen a Michael Vick, win a Super Bowl. But Kaepernick can throw the ball as well. Now, some of that might be because people are so worried about his running ability. Anyway, so the thing about it is that I could give the advantage to the defense of the Atlanta Falcons, but I can't do it because the offensive line just imposes their will upon every defense. The 49ers offensive line just imposed their will. So they're really good. And Kaepernick they've had trouble. Kaepernick should have an advantage against Atlanta, even though they will be prepared this game, because they've had trouble stopping running quarterbacks all year. That's something that a lot of people have pointed out. I'm a Panther fan, so I saw Cam Newton light them up. But I feel like that the 49ers have all the advantages, except for maybe in the kicking game. Atlanta's kicker's more consistent. So if it comes down to a kick, maybe Atlanta wins. Would not be surprised if Atlanta wins. Would not be surprised if Atlanta got the monkey off their back last week and have now said, we're ready to be a big-time football team, and we're going to come out and show this team and play with emotion and passion and could win. I could see that. But I just can't go against the 49ers because the overall team is such a machine. They just keep coming at you. So I'm going to go with the 49ers in a road victory 34-30 in a very close game and a decently high-scoring game. I think the next game will be a high-scoring game too. Baltimore at New England. Now, New England to me is the clear choice in this game, much more than the other game. But the Ravens have such factors in their corner. One, they're playing for Ray Lewis, and this is a big deal. They should have lost last week, and they played hard and they won. Next is that they have lost to New England many times in the playoffs, many times throughout this team's history, and they're ready to beat New England. New England is also out, but it also doesn't have the Gronk. It'll be a much easier pick, and I could pick this pick and probably just go to sleep and say, yep, that's it, got it, if Gronk was there, because he's such a matchup nightmare, him and Hernandez. But let's break it down, offense and defense. So the defense of the Patriot versus the offense of Baltimore. They are going to have trouble stopping Baltimore, but I do like the Patriots' defense. I think they've stepped up, and they're better than they were. So I'm going to give the advantage of that to Baltimore's offense. They should be able to score points. But that's not the end of the world because New England can really score points. And I feel like their offense, now they can run the ball, is running on all cylinders. They're smart, they're savvy, they're home, it might even snow. So I see Tom Brady, and I see this offense running, just running, everything's clicking. And I'm thinking, man, even if the Ravens do well, they could lose. It's no shame to lose to the Patriots at Foxborough. That can happen to anybody. So I'm going to go with the Patriots, but very reluctantly, because it seems like one of those games where everyone's against the Ravens, and they're going to respond to that. They're going to say, everyone's against us. No one thinks we're going to win. We're going to come in here and show them. But I would love to pick the Ravens, but they're exhausted. They went all the way to the West Coast, played in high altitude, 5 quarters, and then flew all the way back west to east, which wears you out, and now are preparing to go up there and play in the cold against the New England Patriots, who, if you make a mistake, will burn you. So I think New England, like I said, has the defense, maybe not as good as Baltimore's offense, but I think they have the defense that is, capable. They have the corners now in place. They went out and got Talib in free agency, or they traded for him, and they went out and they've made the draft picks over the past few years, and they now have a defense that's much better. And then, like I said, the offense I think, can really do what they want against the Ravens, especially with their big tackles and then all their weapons. So let's see how it goes. Could be wrong about all these picks. This is Middle Class Matt. Can't wait for these conference championship games. See you next time.